Ramayan Sutaram Yadun.
Eme Shanadaya Datta.
Reme Shanadaya Datta.
Shanasri Shana Sauhradaha.
Shanasri Shana Sauraya.
Imam Lokam Amum Chaiva.
Imam Lokam Amum Jaiva.
Amaya Sutaran Yadun.
Ramayan Sutaram Yadun.
Eme Shanadaya Datta.
Reme Shanadaya Datta.
Shanasri Shana Sauhradaha.
Shanasri Shana Sauraya.
Imam, this loka on earth, amu, and other words, which are also eva certainly Ramayan, pleasing Sutaram, specifically Yadu, the Yadu. They may enjoy Shanadaya by night, Datta given by Shana later, Sri with the one, Shana conjugal love, Sauhrada friendship. The Lord enjoys pastimes both in this world and in other world, high planned specific in association of the Yadu dynasty. At leisure hours offered by the night, he enjoyed the friendship of conjugal love with women. The Lord enjoyed his pastimes, both in this world and in the other world, high planet, specifically in the association of the Yadu dynasty. At the leisure hours offered by the night, he enjoyed the friendship of conjugal love with women. Yes, who wants to read?
Hare
Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hi, Sarjit, try.
Okay, Prabhuji. The Lord enjoyed in this world with his pure devotees, although he is the personality of Godhead, he is transcendental to all material attachment. He nevertheless exhibited much attachment for his pure devotees on the earth as well as for the demigods who engage in his service in the heavenly planets as powerful delegated directors in the management of all material activities. He displayed special attachment for his family members, the Yadus, as well as for his 16,000 wives who had opportunity to meet him in the leisure hours of night. All this attachment of Lord are manifestations of his internal potency, of which external potency is only a shadow representation. In the Skand Puran, Prabhash Khand, in the topics between Lord Shiva and Gauri, the manifestations of his internal potencies is confirmed. There is mention of Lord's meeting with 16,000 cowherd damsels, although he is Hums, transcendental, super soul, and maintainer of all living entities. The 16,000 cowherd damsels are a display of 16 varieties of internal potencies. This will be more elaborated, explained in the 10th canto. It is said that that Lord Krishna is just like the moon, and the damsels, part of his internal potency, are like the stars around the moon. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shuddhavadi Ashad Deshatarini Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 3:21. Imam lokam amum chaiva ramayan sutara nyadu. Reme shana daya datta shana sri shana sao hatadaha. Lord enjoyed his pastime both in the world and other worlds, high planet, specific in assertion of the Yadu dynasty. At leisure hours offered by the night, he enjoyed the precious conjugal love with woman. So, Lord is the enjoyer. So, what is the surprise? Krishna is the Bhokta. In the temples also, the same thing is signified. In the big temples in the night, the deities of the Lord are taken with the consort, Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayana, and they have a special room. And the night, they kept in the room. So the whole thing is Krishna is the enjoyer. Bhokta. Bhokta Rama Yagna Tapasa is actually the only enjoyer. But Krishna is not enjoyed like way we are enjoyed. That's the difference. That's the Panka. Panka. When we say Krishna is the enjoyer, that's it is explained here in his internal potency, not in external potency. Therefore, it is not at all easy to understand Krishna. The Krishna's pastimes are very difficult to understand when we are in the domain of the external energy. It is not easy to enter the domain of the internal potency. Krishna pastimes are totally under the domain of internal potency. And those people who are the domain of external energy cannot drink it. We are getting some idea because of the great Acharya Srila Prabhupada about the Krishna's pastimes with the internal potency. I always give this example. There was one devotee. He had come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, can you tell me something about Krishna? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you go to Ramananda Raya? Said, okay. And that's it. So he went to meet Ramananda Raya. And Ramananda Raya at that time, that's when Chaitanya Charitamrita, was training two girls to dance for Jagannath Vallabha Nataka, which he had composed. Basically, training two girls to dance for the pleasure of Jagannath, training them how to enact different pastimes for the Lord's pleasure. So he could not understand. And actually he was waiting for a long time. Then he peeped inside. He said Ramananda Raya was totally absorbed in this. So he came back to talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What are you telling me? To hear Krishna love for him. He looked to be very busy with two girls all the time, decorating them, teaching them different dance moves, explaining all emotions and everything to express in front of Jagannatha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't worry, don't doubt him. His mind is like wood. It cannot be shaken by anything material. Ramananda Raya, the advanced devotee, go again tomorrow. So he believed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back. Well, he had become suspicious of that. What I will hear about Krishna's internal potency, it looks like this person is actually engaged in, material affairs. The next day when Ramananda Raya came to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent him, so again he came. Please, don't unmute yourself to make noise. So Ramananda Raya At this stage, I'm sorry he came back. I'm very sorry that yesterday I was busy. You waited for me. Sri Chaitanya sent you for something. Yes, Chaitanya told me that please to teach me about Krishna consciousness, about Krishna. Oh, so nice. The Ramananda Rai then started discussion. The discussion Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he started posing various questions and started himself answering about Krishna, about Lord Krishna. And I think this devotee name is Pradyumna, come from Mayapur, Brahmana. I think, if I remember right, Pradyumna Mishra. And he starts hearing. And when he heard, he feels as if ocean of love of Krishna is shaking. That was the energy in those pastimes, unlimited energy on those pastimes. And he was totally mind-boggling. And it hears him. You understand? Ocean, internal potency. These pastimes, the narration of the Lord, are domain of internal potency. It cannot be artificially spoken. When there was a personality whose name was Romharshana Sutta, now he had no idea about this pastime. Externally, he may be knowing, but he had no respect for Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, like most of these Bhagavata reciters. And he was speaking about this pastimes. And when Balaramji came to the assembly, he understood that actually this person is funny. He did not even get up. Just imagine, whole life, take even material example. You are taking highly of somebody. Most of the people in the world, they are all fans of some materialistic person who is expert in enjoying the senses. Now, no personal qualities, nothing. Just knows how to make money and has become expert in that. They are fan of that person who is famous, who is rich. The people become fan of that. And that is their idol. You ask all these people who get top rank in medical or engineering exams, their icons are always some low class sense gratifier who somehow has money. Themselves are third rate, low class. They're good. That's not, anyway, they're also cheated because they will not get education now. They will get some foolish in the name of education. But anyway, so Balaramji noticed, and Balaramji took a piece of grass and just touched the grass in front of the heart, and the person died. Romotion Sutta, the father of Sutta Goswami who spoke Bhagavatam, was killed by Balaram in just one grass. Why? Because without being in the domain of internal potency, the person can actually do harm than any good in trying to describe the leader of the Lord, which is an internal potency. Because if he is disrespectful, then his Vani is carrying poison than rather than nectar. Shavadam naim kartavyam sarpochista payoratha avaishnava mukhogita puta harikatamritam Shavadam naiva chartavyam kartavyam sarpochista payoratha. If the narration of the past of the Lord is done by somebody, puta harikatamritam, oh, he's speaking harikatha. No, don't hear. Shavadam naiva kartavyam, don't hear. It is like a milk touched by poison. So this is very difficult to understand for some people. They say, what's wrong? It's like if you see the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, proper lecture on it. Proper the chanting, however, should be heard from pure devotee of the Lord. It should not be heard from non-devotees. It can do negative effect. Yeah. So many of these film stars, so many musicians, don't hear from them. Why you want to hear from them? That shows what kind of man you are also. Correct? Many people go to today to know about Krishna. They watch movies made by karmis. You will destroy your bhakti if you do that. It cannot do any good because they look at their personal life, they're very sinful. Look at their uh, outlook, they have no understanding itself what is God. Mostly covered a Mayavada, if at all any Vada is there. And on top of that, mixed by uh, sinful activity. So that will not do any good to our understanding of Krishna, rather it can harm. So therefore we avoid. You understanding? Therefore we are Avaishnava Mukho Gita Puta Harikatam because it's and the internal potency. So if you hear about Krishna Lila, that's why you see so many people in India are confused. When Prabhupada was preaching in America, it was very fast. But in India, but Swamiji, what about Kali? What about Shiva? You are only cripple minded. You only talk about Krishna, but we are very broad minded. We hear you also, we chant Krishna Nama, that is good. But you also chant the Nama of other Devi Devatas. We are very more complete in our outlook for spiritual life. Isn't so many people tell us this? Because they do not know. All the Devi Devata, they are in the domain of external potency. By chanting their names and by discussing about them, what spiritual benefit you're going to get? Nothing. Even their worship is in the domain of external potency. Krishna says, Kame sat hitagyana yajante anya devataha. Your mind is told of material desires, then you go to Devi Devatas. What benefit you're going to get? Nothing. Rather, we hear Krishna Katha because it is in the domain of the internal potency. Even though externally we don't understand. We have a reason called Atmavat Manate Jagat. We look at other people the way we are. So when we are in the domain of external potency, it is very difficult for us to understand the pastimes of the Lord. We misunderstand. Therefore, it is said, without help of Guru, we cannot understand Krishna. Why? Because Guru is in the domain of internal potency. That's the condition of Guru. Tasmad Guru Prapadeta Jigyasushaya Uttamam Shabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashamashayam Tasman Guru Prapadeta. Therefore, you should go to Guru. Jigyasushaya Uttamam. If you actually have inquiry about spiritual affairs, then only you should go to Guru. Shabde Parecha Nishnatam. The qualification of Guru is Shabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upasamasham. He's totally fixed in the words of the Shastra, and he's on a spiritual platform. He's on internal platform, not external platform. Okay? You understand now. Otherwise, somebody is on an external platform, he misunderstands, and therefore, having confused enough by the so-called serials and TVs and cinema and so much gossip about Krishna, it becomes very difficult to teach about Krishna anything. Sometimes, not for everybody, but sometimes it becomes. Please, I will ask Prabhuji a second. Sometimes it becomes very hard. It is like a desert. In a desert, when you try to put seeds on the ground, the seeds do not grow. They do not fructify because the soil is not fertile. So because of offenses that people do in association with the people who are only in the domain of external potency, it becomes very difficult actually to teach teach Krishna consciousness. Because the heart is full of aparadas for the Lord and his great devotees. It becomes very difficult to speak about Krishna. Okay, so therefore, we should be serious. I want to know about Krishna, where I should go. But you can say, this person is devoted to Krishna, this person devoted to Ganesha, to Shiva, Durga, I'll go to them. They're all devoted. Number one, the result is different. If you devote yourself to Devi Devatas, you're not going to go to Krishna, Bhagavad Dhama. Huh? Madhyajano Viyanti Mam. Only the people who worship me, Krishna says, they come back to me. Those who worship the Devatas go to Devaloka. Those who worship Bhutas go to become another Bhuta. And those who worship Pitris go to Pitriloka. And those who worship me, they come back to me. Krishna is very clear in Bhagavad Gita. It doesn't say we can go get the same destination, whatever you worship. No. And another thing is that actually devotion is not possible with Devi Devatas. There is no devotion there. There's always some adan pradhan. Kama seta hita jnana. There is some material desire you are having. Therefore you worship Devi Devatas. The worship of Krishna is pure bhakti. Savai pumsa paradharma yata bhakti adokshaje ahetuki apratihata yatma suprasidati. Yatma suprasidati. The Atma is fully satisfied in the heart, then only we can worship Krishna. Okay, so then only we can understand this pastimes with women. Krishna is actually fully satisfied in himself. He just reciprocates the love of the devotee. Therefore, the thousands of queens, thousands of gopis, they're all manifestations of his internal potency. That's what I explained here. The 10th canto to more reference, they are display of the variety of the internal potency. Thousands of queens, thousands of gopis, they are manifestation of Krishna's internal potency, not external potency. So in that way we should understand Krishna is enjoying sweet pastimes with his internal potency. So who are you to observe? It has nothing to do with external potency. And then we can properly understand. Okay? We can do one more shloka. I think we covered this enough. Tasyevam Ramamanasya
Tasyevam Ramanasya
Samvatsara Ganan Bahun
Samvatsara Ganan Bahun
Griyamedishu Yogeshu
Grihemedeshu Yogeshu
Viragaha Samajayata.
Viragaha Samajayata.
Tasya his evam thus Ramamanasya, enjoying Samvatsara, years, Gana, many, Bahu, great many, Griyamedeshu, in household life, Yogeshu, in sex life, Viraga, detachment, Samajayata, awakened. The Lord of us engaged in household life for many, many years. But at last, the detachment from ephemeral sex life was fully manifested. Yes, who wants to read? Please read. Start reading.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can I read Prabhuji?
Please start reading.
Even though the Lord is never attached to any kind of material sex life, as a universal teacher, he remained a householder for many, many years, just to teach other how one should live in household life. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur explains that the word samajatya means full exhausted
fully exhibited.
sorry, Prabhuji, exhibited in all his activities. While present on earth, the Lord exhibited detachment. This was fully displayed when he wanted to teach it by example that one should not remain attached to household life for all the days of his life. One should naturally develop detachment as a matter of course. The Lord detachment from the household life does not indicate detachment from his eternal association, the transcendental cowherd damsel, but the Lord desired to end his so-called attachment to the three modes of material nature. He can never be detached from the service of his transcendental association like Rukmini and other gods of fortune described in the Brahma Samhita 5.2 Lakshmi Sahasra Sata
Rama, Samrama,
Samrama Seva Yam. Hare
Sevyama.
Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Tasyevam ramamanasya samvasaraganan bahu griyamedeshu yogeshu viragah samajayata. The Lord of the engaged in household life for many, many years, but at last ephemeral sex life was fully manifested. So there is no sex life like us for the Lord. Lord has no lust in his heart, he is only pure love. And he reciprocates to the affection of his devotee. That is the nature of Krishna. That is all. So, but what happens? Atmamadmanate, we also feel like that. It's not true. Krishna's domain activities are only in internal potency. And for a person like us, it's a lesson. We can learn more how to engage in household life. Those who want to get married, they can learn from Krishna household life, how to live in a responsible married life. So Krishna gives an example. Anukara, Anusara. We don't imitate the Lord activities. Anusara, we follow. So we learn from the Lord household life how we should take responsibility. With all married wives, he took a responsibility and uh, took care of them. And finally, Krishna born those pastime, went back to the spiritual world. The domain of material energy, three modes. In the domain of material world, his pastimes are enacted, and Krishna bound those pastimes went back to the spiritual world. The proper saying here, be very careful. Krishna's detachment does not mean detachment from eternal potency. That is always there. Just like gopis. Apparently, he left Vrindavan. Krishna actually never left Vrindavan. He's always in Vrindavan. Why will he leave Vrindavan? His pure mother Yashoda, why will he leave there? Or the gopis? No. Gopas? No, he never left. But he was present in their meditation. That's why we have to understand in internal potency, separation is also more valuable than meeting. In external potency, we can't understand all this. What is all this? We cannot understand because we have no access to that. But in the domain of internal potency, meeting Krishna and separation from Krishna both are spiritual. Rather, separation from Krishna gives more pleasure than meeting Krishna. So Krishna never left. Even that Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Ravyaseva Manam, billions of Lakshmi with great respect are headed by Rukmini, are waiting to serve Krishna. Krishna accepts their service very happily. In a domain of internal potency. So Krishna is never disconnected from his pure devotees. If he is disconnected, he's disconnected from the metal energy. Okay? Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
everybody.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So we
Hare
have
Krishna
two
Prabhuji.
programs coming up. Today is Wednesday. Sunday we have Ekadashi. Morning we have Japa of Gita. In the evening we have Sankalpa for Shraddhavan, at least for Shraddhavan. Others, let us see if we can organize time. And on Sunday we have Narasimha Jayanti. On the Tuesday we have Narasimha Jayanti in the evening. Okay, so welcome for both of them. Keep in mind. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna.